Now, on our website, we just have a press page, and we've listed, any articles or TV, coverage we've gotten. But a media room is more than that.
Right.
Right. So
It's a dedicated place, just for media, exactly. So, yeah.
So when is it okay to be doing your own stuff? I guess probably when you're starting up and you don't have the dollars necessarily to throw into even a PR budget of some sort. But when would it be ideal to really hit that next step? And what does hiring someone to do PR for you excel your company? And
well, you know what I would recommend is that if you had a special event, like if it's great to do a media campaign and hire someone around something specific. So I wouldn't get into a monthly retainer, which is where every month you're going to pay a certain amount of money, because some months somebody might do more or less. But if you have a special event, I would basically hire somebody to do your media campaign starting maybe 2 months before, and then to do it right up to the event and deal with the media at the event, and then maybe a little bit afterwards. And I would say that's the way to start to work with somebody, right?
So when you're formulating a story idea to pitch, what's important for that story, and how do you generate your first media release, maybe?
Well, story ideas would be, it could be just what I said before, a problem, a trend, or an issue, a success story. It could be a special event. So I actually have created a sheet that is story ideas that I would put into a media kit or have in the online media room, or tell the media I have a group of story ideas, because they're always looking for the good news. They're always looking for things beyond, I'm launching a business. So throughout the year, I would pitch different story ideas to the media. One could be about you, and it could be a financial success that your business has grown. It could be about a client and who the client is and why it was meaningful to them. It could be a special event that you're doing. It could be a trend, that there's a trend to personalized jewelry. So that's what story ideas are. So you're always looking, and you could either email that, or you could phone somebody even, and say, I've got some story ideas. They're always looking for those kind of things, right?
For sure. Yeah. I want to check out your product. So we are back in studio, and I've got Susan, who's a marketing expert at Sommers and Associates, correct?
Right.
She's the president and has been doing marketing and media relations for quite some time now. How many years exactly?
30.
Okay. Who's counting, though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And we've got Louise Henry here, who's from Name, and the website's name.ca. And you can go online and you can purchase your own jewelry that's custom to you, or probably a loved one if you are on the male side of things. Probably you're purchasing it for someone who's very special in your life that you perhaps would like to impress. But you are getting into men's jewelry as well, from what I understand too. Possibly. Maybe? Possibly. Well, by the end of the show, we will have a definitive answer for you. Exactly. So, different ways of getting media attention.
Okay, well, you know what? If I were to look, I was saying to Louise, if I looked at a one-year program for her, right? So let's say that you were going to be in a bridal show. So that would be one time that you'd let the media know that's what you were doing. And maybe you could be a speaker in the bridal show or have a little fashion show. Another time you might do a speaking engagement, and what that might be is how to care for jewelry, some of the properties of jewelry, that type of thing. So a speaking engagement would be another possibility to let media know. You might hook up with a retailer and then do some kind of event where you're doing the jewelry for their clothing, right? You would go in and see a fashion magazine and actually make an appointment to go in and bring the collection in and try to hook up with them, right, and connect with them. And that would be another way, right? So I guess what I'm saying is during the year, you're looking for opportunities. And if you're comfortable writing an article would be one as well. Another one would be case studies, like success stories. You've got a little bit of that on your website, but really going into depth, about what is it that somebody really, what you could do, you could approach the media and say, okay, they can talk to you as the designer, and they can talk to the person who purchased it, and then you get both sides of the story. So that's another way to do it. So you're looking throughout the year for ways to make news, and then if there's a trend, let's say there's a trend in certain kinds of jewelry or certain kinds of clothing and your jewelry lends itself to that, then you'd hook in with the trend. So you're always sort of saying, what can you create, and what's out there that you can tie in with. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And how do you go from local to national or international? Same sort of thing, but on an expanded level?
Yeah, well, for example, national, let's say that you were in a show that was national, like a wedding show, then you'd have national media there, and that would be an opportunity to connect with the national media, right? Or if you go to, let's say, the Globe and Mail, that's national, and you get an article in there, then you're getting national, right? So if you go to Canadian Press, CP, and they decide to do something on you, then it goes across the country.
Through different...
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So I think you really look at local media, because you're a story for the community newspaper. So even starting at that level, in your community, you're a story because you're an artist living in the community. And then you just go out from there to all the different kinds of media that are out there.
And
the different levels.
I guess I'm on TV, and I guess I'm media people that people would call as well. Although I didn't think of that before I was about to ask this question. But is the media scary? Is it hard to call people like myself? Like, what's that first call like? Or
you know, it's very interesting because I've actually had clients on breakfast TV. I think really, don't be afraid to pitch to the media because it's interesting. A lot of media don't want to go through a PR firm. They'd rather have somebody like you, contact them directly. So really feel comfortable about contacting a producer, either sending them a release or even calling and saying, you know what, I have a new collection, and ask them, how do you want me to get in touch with you? Because sometimes like Breakfast TV, I remember there was a researcher who said, it's great, just talk to me and tell me what you've got and let's see if we can do something. So don't be intimidated by media, that's what I'm saying. Especially nowadays, they have so much time and space to fill that they're looking for stories. So keep in mind that you are a story and this is interesting and you're Canadian. You know?
And I know you started out quality and the gift that it is. Yeah. So we're going to go to a Facebook question momentarily. And I also just want to find out from you, how do people get a hold of you, Susan?
They can email me, susan@susansommers.ca. That's probably the easiest way to do it. And you want a phone number or?
Yeah, that works for right now, and they'll be on our website. I think we'll put it up too. Yeah.
416-303-4028.
And our viewers might be just reading the question that's on the screen right now. Jenny from Facebook was asking, what are the top 3 things you would recommend to a young entrepreneur trying to establish a strong social media presence?
I will let you talk about your social media presence, Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could use some tips as well, but so far I would say get on as many of them as you can, of the main ones. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and actually the last 2, Pinterest and Instagram, although they're newer, have really, really worked for us. People love to see photos, obviously, and a lot of people, other businesses I've spoken to as well, are getting sales directly from Pinterest.
And are there more, is Pinterest more of a fashion-related? I'm the least fashionable people and the great people. So it's more of a visual thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got Style does my wardrobe. I do not dress like this 9 to 5. Okay, so that's good to know.
So yeah, get on that. Blogging as well. Having your own blog and making sure that you're optimizing for your search engines. So talking about things that you would want to come up for. So for us, we talk about life's special moments. We talk about, times throughout the year when you would want to give a gift. So social media, blogging. And then, when you are on these things, to be engaged and to not just promote your product, but to, be involved in your industry and talk about things that would actually interest your followers and not just be promoting your product.
Yeah.
I would say with LinkedIn, probably one of the most effective things for me has been the groups.
Yes.
So looking for LinkedIn groups that are related to what you're doing. And then people say the most successful thing is to comment, and to contribute to conversations on LinkedIn. So, yeah.
I had some recent experience with that, actually. I've mentioned before, I co-founded a charity called Skate to Grade, and we collect skates for kids across the country that you can donate them. I want to pick your brain about that in a second, too. But one of the things that we did was we went to different hockey-related groups on Facebook, and by commenting there and staying in the loop there, people are going through those comments constantly, and now we kind of become part of that community, and that's what I feel has brought us some great success with Skate to Grade.
That's great, fantastic.
And for an event, we're creating one on Saturday, some shameless self-promotion for a good cause. So if you've got used skates, you can find out on Facebook, facebook.com/skate to great. And we're collecting skates on Saturday with some ice cream trucks and food trucks giving away free food that's been donated and creating some festivities. How would you recommend getting the word out for a local sort of community event like that?
It's interesting. Probably the biggest change in contacting the media is something called the media alert, which is literally on letterhead, who, what, when, where, why, and how. It can be emailed. You can phone the day before. It used to be when I used to do media campaigns, you'd start 8 weeks or 3 months or whatever, but now I find a lot of things happen. If you're doing it on a weekend, for example, it's the person who's on the assignment desk. So in other words, if you have an event on Saturday, you could contact a TV station or a newspaper on Friday and say, I've got this event and I'm going to email you all the information in a media alert. And you could say who is on the assignment desk this weekend. And you could literally call Saturday morning. I've had people come to events where Saturday morning I've contacted them and they show up on Saturday. So a lot more of this last minute, just don't tell me about it so far in advance. Just let me know when it's happening.
Now,
so that's what you can do.
And do you find it successful shooting? We refer to it as B-roll. B-roll is like if you, let's say I'm talking and there's a video over top of my talking in the background. It's what you see on the news. Is having your own video footage taken on site or taking your own photos and sending that out, is that beneficial in any way, or do you see that getting used at all?
I don't see it getting used that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because then you have
I think
photo
you
rights.
want to get the media to come out. That's
Yes.
really the main thing you want. Yeah.
And oftentimes you want to create some sort of photo opportunity for
Right.
them that they're able to take a picture. What?
Okay, so then what you would do is on this media alert on the bottom, you'd say photo, it's called media alert / photo op.
Yeah.
So you would literally tell them at 3 p.m. so-and-so is going to be handing over the check.
Yes.
Or we'll have a group of kids who are going to be doing a demonstration at 2.
Yes.
So in other words, you would actually have that right in that media alert so they'd know, okay, I can come anytime, but for the photo part of it, this is when things are going to be happening.
So on Saturday, as of right now, besides lots of free food and you dropping off your skates, besides me being there, your favorite host from Toronto Speaks Entrepreneurship, there's not a whole lot going on. So what, do you have a suggestion for what
Yeah,
perhaps
I
a
would
photo op
definitely
could be?
contact, I would definitely, a photo op, well, just what I said, a group, it could be
group photo of a
kids,
bunch, yeah.
it could be turning over a check, it could be, just showing the people there
Yes.
at the event, getting some interviews,
Yeah.
yeah.
And do you have any events currently planned, or have you also tried any trade shows? On the line right now, we've got Donna. Donna, what's your question?
By the way, I'm really enjoying listening to this discussion. Customer relationship management, neither for Susan or the young entrepreneur, to comment on what her current strategy is to maintain a good relationship with her current customers.
It's interesting because it used to be, the philosophy of marketing used to be always going after new people, right? So it was always like, who else can we go after? And suddenly it's changed, I would say, maybe the last five years even. Customers for life. And it doesn't necessarily mean literally for life, but it means your current customer is the best place for you to go to ask them what else they want. And it gets back to what I said, needs-based marketing. In other words, you go out, you ask them what they want, and you could be creating a product or a service based on that. So it's keeping them, they say it's so much cheaper to keep your current customers than to spend all your money on always going after new ones. So, I never understood why people gave the hockey tickets and all those kinds of things, but I understand, that if you can, whatever it will take to keep your current customers happy, and I'm sure you have that with your customers, right?
Yeah,
You get more
definitely.
work out of them, right?
Definitely, and we really like to be, responsive. Email them back right away, answer any questions they have. Just being there and being accessible, and then also, being there on Facebook and being Twitter and talking about your company and keeping people updated with what you're doing, so they kind of feel part of the process as well.
And I think part of it too is going online and seeing some negative things that people might be saying about you and being aware of those kinds of things, because there are things you might have to deal with, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, so
And Twitter was Bob says, how do you go about taking an online company and distributing your products in actual retail locations? So how do you make that transition from going online over to retail? Pop-up shops?
yeah,
Is
you
it going
can,
to
you can
buyers?
start
What
that.
do you do? What's been?
I've approached, if you're starting small, then you can approach, boutiques yourself. You can go in and have a retail package and present your collection just as you would, just as you have it online. You just have to provide that information, in person, and you can often work direct with them. And then also start working with sales reps. That's something we've done recently, and that's turned out to be really beneficial for us. A lot of them really know how to get in the retail locations if that's not necessarily.
And make those
your-
relationships, right?
Exactly.
Are they available on commission, or do they have to be paid? You're able to
commission.
do that?
Yeah, commission, which is really great for.
How do you find these people, or
small
do they find you?
businesses. Luckily, mine found us, but
Yeah.
there's through networking. I know a lot of people find sales reps through their
And
existing
Susan,
networks.
do you have anything
Well,
to add to
yeah,
that?
it's interesting because make sure that if you're going after media, make sure that you have a retail location, because I've actually heard about clients who have gone after media and they're not quite in a store yet. And so the media say, well, where is it being sold?